You were extremely anemic.
Yes. Yeah, my primary was like, it's not an issue. So she put me on iron pills, and I went back and got my blood work done. She's like, you're still low, so we're going to do it again. Did it for 2 months, and then I went back to see her, and she didn't offer anything. Something's not right. I can't get warm. I'm freezing. Told my husband, you need to take me to the hospital. Could not get warm to save my life. So we went to the hospital. They found out that I had a bladder infection, which was close to being septic. During that time, they gave me a CT, and then they were like, well, we want to give you an ultrasound. The doctor that was on call in the ER came to me and said, you need to make an appointment with a gynecologist right away. We found a mass. They showed me the mass, and in my head, I'm thinking, okay, it's just a mass. They can deal with it. Well, it was bigger than what I was thinking, because it basically caused my uterus to double in size. They did biopsy it, and then they found out that it was cancer. We're going to deal with it. We're going to call it what it is, because I'm not scared.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, we're going to get it taken care of.
Yeah.
I ended up seeing a cancer doctor in town, and she said there's this really good cancer doctor in Spokane. Female, very top of the line. Okay. Oh, and I was like, okay, she's here for my best interest. We made a scheduled appointment, and that was in April. I went and saw her. She's like, do you have endometrial stage 3, this big old long term? I just tell them I have stage 3 endometrial uterine cancer. Well, we'll schedule you for May 31st. That's still a month out. I'm like, can you guys get me in any sooner? They're like, no. So I'm still worried, but my thing is, God's bigger than any of my problems. God is bigger. And so I was like, whatever happens, happens. And so May 31st comes around. I go up to Spokane. We stay in a hotel. We get to the hospital at 5:30, sign all the paperwork, do what we need to do. I go in for surgery. I come out. I'm slowly waking up. I was at the hospital 5 days thinking everything is healthy. Nobody came back to me and communicated that there wasn't anything good, that I didn't have to worry about it. It wasn't till my second surgery that I had to go back up, because I had a colovaginal fistula. From what I found out is because she said my uterus, the cancer had grown outside my uterus and was attached to my colon. She was trying to get it off, so she nicked my colon and tried to fix it herself. She's not a colorectal surgeon. That's not her specialty. I was getting neuropathy. Basically, insides were not doing what they're supposed to be doing, because I was battling infection and I had just a lot of different things going on. But I do remember, as they were wheeling me into the OR, this guy, I don't know who he was, or if he was a nurse or a surgeon or whatever, but before I went under, he grabbed my hand. And he held my hand. After that surgery, I never saw him again. And I thought, maybe God, you sent somebody there
to comfort you,
to comfort me, because I was nervous, because I'm like, now I'm going in for a second time. And during this second time, when I wake up, then I realize I have an ostomy that I have to now get used to. I have a midline that's been cut open twice, so I had a lot of scar tissue. So now I'm dealing with these things. Then on June 16th, the doctor comes into my room. She goes, I've got to talk to you. And I said, let me get my husband on the phone. And so I called Rob and I said, the doctor's here and she's got to let us know something. And she goes, you have 3 weeks left to live. This is all I can do for you. I am going on vacation to Switzerland. And she walked out the door. When Rob hears this, Rob is broken up. Luckily, he hears that and he sees a good friend of ours, Rich Kennedy. And Rich puts his arms around Rob, and Rob's like, I need prayer. Sherry just got a death notice. She's got 3 weeks left to live. Rich prayed for him right away, right there in the IT department, and prayed for Rob and said, Rob, God's got this. And so Rob got in the car. I don't know how he didn't get a speeding ticket, but he was up there quickly. And he's like, we'll be fine. We're going to do something. We'll start figuring it out. Worked out that our friend Perry is a paramedic, and he works for an ambulance company.
Oh.
And so because I couldn't ride in a car because of my midline and adjusting to all this stuff, I came home in the ambulance.
Wow.
And the ambulance pulled in the back of my house. My friends were there. My friends, my prayer group. And because I didn't have a ramp built on my house, I had very rickety steps. And the men in our group, Perry, Rich, Andy, Bob, Tobin, there was a bunch of different men, and they grabbed the edge of my hospital bed and they carried me into my house. God showed me with the story of the friend who was paralyzed, and they knew Jesus could heal this man. And they tore open the roof and lowered the man in front of Jesus, and Jesus healed him. And I was like, God, that is you. You gave me these people who carried me to you. I couldn't walk because it was like my friends, the people who loved me, who were there lifting my bed into my house. So I was talking to my friend Francie, who's a cancer advocate. She's got a whole other title, but she was meeting a cancer doctor. She told him my situation, and so we started talking. Well, as I was home health and hospice came. I signed up with them, and I'm laying in a medical bed. I have friends all around me, just thinking this is the end. All of a sudden I looked and I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. The next day, I canceled hospice. If I go on my terms, not with somebody dictating, we're going to make her comfortable. A friend gave us a juicer. I started juicing vegetables. Rob would juice carrots and juice celery and juice all this stuff to get my nutritional built up. I have a friend who lives in Illinois, and her name's Heather. Heather was the one who's like, you got to eat. We've got to get stuff in you. And I said, I don't trust my stomach. I don't trust any of that. I've been home a week. And then all of a sudden, I got a midline fistula. Means that there's an opening that's starting to open in my midline. It was the end of June. The doctor was out of town, but she had her colleagues filling in for her. They called Sacred Heart, and there was no beds. They were afraid to feed me at St. Joe's because of this midline. They didn't know what was going on. For 4 days, I ate ice chips and I drank water. My thing was, if Jesus could go 40 days without food, I will be okay. The 3rd of July, I went back up to Sacred Heart. And they had a bed for me. They would come in and check on me. They weren't really helping me. They weren't suggesting treatment. I called the hospital and I said, how do I get rid of this team? This team is not for my benefit. I didn't have anybody else. I was meeting a cancer doctor in August, but this is beginning of July. But during that time, I had friends praying. I had friends visiting. The Berry clan, Cheryl and Casey and Diamond. And they knew, okay, we're going to bring you something to drink. What do you want? I didn't know what I had going on, so I'd say, bring me a coffee. I still wasn't technically eating food. Basically, from the time I had my surgery to the time I went up in July and I fired the team, I lost over 100 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. During this time, my midline was still leaking. because of the fistula. I'm still in the hospital. It's like the 8th or 9th of July. And I'm bouncing back between Dr. Andre and Dr. Chaudhry, trying to figure out who's going to take me. And I'm like, people make a decision. Well, Dr. Andre, she'd visit me first thing in the morning. She'd get there at 6. And she's like, how are things going? And she'd check my pulse. And I was like, I'm doing well. Nobody, I think, believed that I was going to die because I was too much go-getter. I was a chatty Cathy. One night, a nurse came in. She's 25. She looked worn down. And I just started talking to her. And I'm like, hey, it's all about Jesus. If it wasn't for my faith, I wouldn't be here. Next night, she came back in. She was a night nurse. And she labeled every cord. Okay, this is the IV. This is the TPN. This is this. This is that. She just labeled everything. The next day, another nurse came in and goes, what the heck is this? And I was like, I don't know. She just wanted to talk. And I told the girl, I was like, you got to find Jesus and make decisions on your own. If you're tired, then quit. Go back to school. Be a traveling nurse. You don't have to stay in one place very long. You'd be like, I'm moving. And it was great to talk to her. I would call home to my group of friends on a Sunday night, and I'd be like, well, I need prayer for this. I said, but also not just praying for me, but pray for a certain nurse. That was such an impact in my group because it wasn't all about me. It was about other people. During this time, after I fired the team, I was in no man's land because I didn't have a surgeon. I wasn't with a cancer doctor. I didn't know where I was going. I kept praying, God, I don't want to have to do chemo or radiation. I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be tired. You know my body. Well, also during that time of Dr. Andre's visits in the morning, she came in one day and she goes, you're a key candidate for Keytruda. I was like, what? What's Keytruda? And she goes, Keytruda is immunotherapy. You go in for treatment, and for a half hour, the Keytruda gets in your system, boosts your immune cells to fight the cancer. And I went, okay, God, you know my cells more than I do. And you knew a long time ago that I was going to have to go through this. And I called a friend, and my friend was like, we're going to pray. God's got a plan. When I would go down in those little valleys, she'd be there, and my friend Brenda would be there to be like, come on, you're not going anywhere. She prayed, and I was like, it was later on in the afternoon, and I'm sitting in my hospital bed, and I was like, God, you got it. You've got to do what you have to do. All of a sudden, Dr. Juviler comes in, and he sits on the end of the bed, and he's saying something, and then he goes, I'm going to take you. I started bawling. This very kind doctor said, I'm going to take you. I felt accepted. Okay, he sees what I've been through. He's probably read everything that I have going on. That's when he started doing the TPN. He's like, you've got to eat and get your strength up, because once your strength's up, your body's going to heal itself.
Right.
He came in and he'd come check on me. This is still the 13th or 14th of July. Then Dr. Juvier says, how do you feel about eating some liquids? So I was like, yeah, I feel fine. They gave me Jell-O and stuff that's soft enough that it can digest. And then he comes back 2 days later. He's like, how do you feel about having some solid food? And I was like, oh yeah, I need some solid food. So I just started ordering from the menu. I met with Dr. Chaudhry on July 20th. He goes, August 3rd, you're going to start your treatment. I said, okay. I had 2 treatments in October.
Okay.
And I had a treatment in November, and then I had a PET scan. During the PET scan, they saw that the cancer was gone, except for one lymph node in my pelvic area.
Wow.
But there was no cancer in my body. So as of November 2023,
Wow.
I have been in remission.
That's awesome.
I have my ostomy, my bag. We're dealing with it for a year, God bless my husband, Rob, I love you. He was the one who took care of it, doing the cleaning, and he would shower me, and he would make sure that everything was cleaned and made sure midline was healed.
How is the midline?
The midline is completely healed. There's more to that story.
Yeah.
Because I ended up having 2 more surgeries. So I've had 4 total midline surgeries.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. My prayer is to have an ostomy reversal. Means where they put me all the way back together. And that is my goal. And God knows my heart's desire is to be complete. I'm used to it. I order the supplies, and it's part of me. God's like, you've got a year. You got a year with this on. Get used to it. Let all the stuff in your insides recover.
Yeah,
When I got out of the hospital on the 20th of July, I couldn't walk. I remember the first time after being out of the hospital, I went to our group's house, our friends, and we were doing s'mores, and I rolled in a wheelchair. I couldn't move my legs.
Yeah.
My legs are not strong enough to hold me. So the first time I went to Dr. Chaudhry's, I was in a wheelchair. This is not doable. And I said, no, I'm going to start walking. I'm going to start moving. I had so many people gather around me, so many people praying. I got a hold of a friend. Her name was Rochelle. And I got a hold of her and I said, have your friends pray. Because this is a big deal. And so she started praying, and she got other people to pray. They came to visit, and I had so many more people visit in the hospital. People I hadn't seen in 15 years came to me, and they're like, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing well. My cousin Mike came up with his wife, Kathy. And Kathy's like, you've got this. You're not going anywhere. So I was like, you're right. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna live. God's got a plan. God was like, get behind me and watch what I'm gonna do. I was like, okay. And there was one time I tried to do things on my own. And I heard in a clear voice, get behind me. And God showed me a parade in my little head that I had, because I'm a visual person sometimes, and God showed me a parade, and he was the head float. He's like, get your parade car. I call it the clown car. Get your car behind me and watch what I'm going to do.
Oh.
And then one time, God showed me that I was trying to creep out and get like beside him or in front of him. And he's like, no, get behind me. Watch what I'm going to do. Don't rush.
Can you describe what you mean by that? How it was that you were feeling like you were getting the glory?
Not that I deserve the glory, but I wanted to know. I'm one of those people who wants to know the answer.
Oh, okay.
Instead of stepping...
You're rushing ahead.
Yeah, instead of waiting and letting God get all the glory. Because it's all his glory. Another weird thing where God intervened is I was in my hospital room and I was getting ready to go to sleep. And I don't know what happened. I don't know what my body was doing. I don't know if it's just things were slowing down. I'm the only one in my room. The door is closed. And all of a sudden, in the distance, I heard a yell, Sherry. Hearing that noise from a distance startled me that it made my heart start beating really fast. I won't know till I get to heaven what that was. I don't know if God was just waking me up for something, because I remember, God, thank you. Whatever that was, thank you. There's still stuff I don't understand, and I don't see through it. I'm just like, okay. My very first treatment was on the same day that I met with Dr. Jubilaire outside of the hospital.
Okay.
And I kept telling him, I want an ostomy reversal. And he's like, well, we need scar tissue to settle down and do what you need to do. So for a year, I was with my ostomy bag on the left side. Okay, I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to start walking, doing what I need to do. By then, I had a ramp at my house. There was some gentlemen in our church, some older gentlemen, who came to my house and built me a ramp so Rob could roll me right in. I got rid of the hospital bed. We got a bed that had a remote so it would lift up. So Rob took the box springs off of it, and that became my bed for the near future. I still love that bed. We have it still. I met with Dr. Jubiler, and he's like, "You're going to have to wait. We can't close you up quite yet." And I didn't understand, but I wasn't going to argue because I didn't want to lose a good doctor. End of October, beginning of November, Dr. Jubiler scheduled an ostomy revision. Because of my old ostomy was not working. The surgeon who put it on was not a colorectal surgeon, so she didn't have the right idea of how to put one in. So in November of 2024, I went in and got a new ostomy put on my right side.
Okay.
Healthy, doing what it's supposed to do, but I had to be opened midline. That was my third midline. I'm in the hospital, and it's the guy who was taking care of my wound vac was a Christian. And he came in every single time, and he would pray for me. Well, it was on a Friday. On Sunday, I was like, something smells. What is that smell? And I let Dr. Jubiler was off. So he had a other doctor coming in, and I'm like, something's not right. Something smells, something's stinky. Well, this other guy, the guy who did my wound vac, came in and he's like, oh yeah. He's like, you've got an infection in your old site. It was turning necrotic. He goes, your thing should not be looking this color. All I know is I was going back in for another midline surgery.
Wow.
God bless Dr. Jubiler. He went in and he fixed it, and I got the new ostomy. As soon as he fixed it, everything started smoothly running. God showed me that this is going to be something that's going to help women, even men who are struggling, because my husband became my caregiver during these last 2 years. He was the one who stepped up beside me, besides doing his full-time job, made sure I ate, made sure I had my waters, make sure I was comfortable, and then he would go to work, and if I had a leak because of my old ostomy site, I would call him and say, I'm leaking. He's like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. He would leave his work on his lunch break, come care for me, take care of my ostomy, clean it up, make sure it didn't get into the wound. The colorectal surgeon says, I do have to get my BMI down. And I'm like, okay, I'll get it down. I joined a gym a week ago Friday. My friend Heather and I meet and we pray for each other. And she's a nutritionist. And so she's helped me out. You need to be trying this to help your insides heal. Last December, I just felt a stirring in my heart. God's like, apply at the school. See if they got part-time. Because for 2 years, I didn't work at all. So I texted the school secretary and I was like, is there any openings? And she's like, well, we got a part-time secretary position from 10 to 1:30. Interviewed and I got the job. I started filling in as a full-time IA again. They're like, hey, will you fill in? I was like, yeah. First couple of days I was exhausted. When I got off at 3:30, I went home, took a nap.
I bet.
And the secretary, Jess, was like, you need to apply. So I applied. By Monday, I had the full-time position. I finished out the school year. August 20th, I'll start my first official full year. And it's been wonderful. God showed me you're a whole lot stronger than what you thought. Before I had my surgeries in November, the last time I was in the hospital, I wanted to put a note on the door. If you do not believe that I'm going to live, please do not enter my room.
But what did you do when you felt that anger brewing?
Right away, it's like, forgive her. For the longest time, I would, to my group of friends who knew her name, I would say this doctor's name. After a while, God's like, don't say her name. Don't give that fire. Don't give that kindling. You just say, God, I forgive her.
Yeah.
It took a while. It took a couple months. Now, if I think about it, I'll think, oh, this doctor, this surgeon. But then
Yeah.
I pray for her. I've learned that when you bless somebody, you're saying, God, I remove my hands off of this situation. It's your turn to deal with them. And I've learned that a lot with people. And I've learned not to pick up on other people's anger because my nurse friend, who was in the room a lot of times with me, would see this doctor and be kind of like, oh, I sure hope she's not giving her bad things because she could be good with other people.
Yeah.
It was just that the devil had used her to be a negative, saying, hey, let's see if I can break this girl.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like you have the faith of a mustard seed,
Yeah. It's enough.
that's where a lot of it is a faith of a mustard seed. And I was like, God, all I need is faith.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of faith.
Yeah.
God was like, I'm going to carry you.
Yeah. That's so
I'm going to hold you. I'm going to hear the prayers of your peeps.
Yeah.
People are going to see you now and they're going to be like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in remission.
Yeah.
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I have an ostomy that I hate, but I'm getting used to it. Believe it or not, ask my husband. I'm like, this thing's annoying,
Yeah.
but it's keeping me healthy. Everything that I've gone through is all about God. If God wanted to take me, he would have taken me a year ago. God's like, this is about me. You're going to give your story, and it's going to be all about me. If I could ever just put out there, if you have a difficult thing
Yeah.
that you have to do,
Yeah.
and you don't feel like you're going to be able to do it,
Yeah.
call your friends. Call your friends, gather the people around you, and say, we need to pray.